and so did Kale. It could mean that they want to go for some kind of Amumu comp, because Wukong and Kale worked as a counter for medium makers.
Oh, very quick bans coming out of both teams here, as we do see, wow, Kha'Zix being locked in immediately. He was let to slide by. We still have Shen open though, and who actually plays Kha'Zix for Gambit Gaming? And we could see him top, could see him mid.
I'm pretty sure Alex Ich plays it. I actually played Gambit Gaming last week, I think like 3 days ago, and they played a combo around Alex Ich Kha'Zix. So I'm pretty sure he's gonna take it.
We are seeing Meechmakers sit on Nidalee right now, Pinky, and I believe we did see actually a lot of Nidalee coming around lately, a lot of AP Nidalee. Yeah. Even in the top lane where she's still pretty strong. If we see this locked in, how do you think it's going to go? I'm assuming it would be in the mid lane since we have Charu with that flash teleport.
It's possible that it's on him, but as you say, she's been played in top and in mid equally, and even in mid she's been playing as an AD build more than anything from some people. So if it's coming up against Alex, coming up against the Kha'Zix, seeing that first item Frozen Fist, or Iceborne Gauntlet as it is now, sorry, given that early Glacial Shroud to start with the armor to defend against it, the bonus mana to keep spamming out her heals, spamming out the spears, makes them very, very strong against that Kha'Zix in the mid lane, but they do switch her off the last second. It's not to say they're not going to pick her, they can still go later on, of course. If you're confident that Kha'Zix is your opponent's mid laner, no rush to pick your own mid. You know that's where it's going to be, you know where it's going to sit. So you can take some other lanes and take them away from your opponents first, and they've done that obviously with this Shen, who we've seen steadily more often throughout the course of the tournament. The first couple of games he was a little bit ignored, a little bit shoved aside, but he's really shown his worth in the last few games, and he's now back in there as MYM's first pick.
Yeah, and we did see Jace actually played by Meechmakers against Curse, and the snipes I kept seeing off of that was just amazing. We do have Darien, looks like he's actually trolling a little bit, switching through a couple of champions. We do see an Ezreal and Tristana being sat on. Most likely not going to see that combo, but however, we've seen a lot of Ezreal mids, but with a Kha'Zix, you don't want to take away that mid from him.
I also know a couple of Eastern jungle games of Diamonds, but I really doubt that he's going to pull it off.
Yeah, Aranea actually, during Intel Master Flow, we were always talking to him. He's like, yeah, jungle Ezreal is amazing. That was obviously back a little bit before. Actually, I think it was this patch, now that I think about it. And it looks like it will, in fact, get locked in. Obviously, not sure if it will be in the jungle just yet.
Nah, pretty sure it's going to be 80 now. Yeah,
Persona locked in.
And that is our first Ezreal of the entire tournament so far as well. So Meechmakers, what do they need to pick up here with what they see?
I'd love to see the Nidalee. I'd love Pokemon, which would mean Chat would go to jungle, but they have every option open right now, and you can't really tell at this point, because as we said, like, they got Season 3 qualifiers next week. They don't want to show their best stuff, so they might as well go for like an old school Pokemon with Nidalee and maybe Janna Caitlyn or something, or they might go for something completely different. It's really hard to tell.
Well, if they do go for a Pokemon, what do we need to see out of Gambit to kind of counter that? Don't they need some sort of hard engage to kind of start these fights?
Yeah, that's what you usually want, some kind of like long-range hard engage.
Well, we do see Olaf getting automatically locked in by Cubone there. Looks like it will be in that top lane, and Olaf, just this entire tournament, has been played extremely well. There was a little bit of a, not a mess up, but I mean, Alex, unfortunately, didn't do as well because he got shut down in that bottom lane. But still, Olaf's been played very well this entire tournament. And Gambit now with the next two picks. Panky, what do you think we're going to see out of him here?
I'll go back to the Gambit picks in a minute, but first it's that Sivir from MYM. Sivir, it's very strong AD carry. We saw a lot during the middle of last year, started to fade out a bit more. Started to come back a little bit of Cologne. They tried it a couple of times. A couple of teams have been practicing her with her since then. But this is the first time we've seen her in this tournament, this weekend. No bans before, no picks before, but she's straight in there as a response to that Ezreal and that Sona pick. That spell shield's going to be really great against that Sona off, provided you can time it properly. And of course they picked up that Olaf. Olaf, who has been dominating all the way through the tournament, no matter which team picked him up. Apart from Alex Ich, they've been very, very strong, just building giant spell after giant spell and just activating Ragnarok and just tearing his way through teams. So it's going to be a big problem area for Gambit if they cannot shut it down. Edward currently sitting on Renekton, which is something that they tried early on, and we did see Darien play Renekton up against Blaze, up against Flames Olaf, which actually didn't go very well for Gambit there. So he's trying to try it again. Maybe he's trying to think something different from Cubone. And of course, that Olaf could still be in the jungle, so they could still switch that round in the last minute.
Well, they still also have a full AD team at the moment, as we check on the other side currently as well. So we could have just a full double AD team, as we do see Nunu and Mackler. I believe he did actually play Severe in like you're saying before, in Intel Extreme Masters Cologne, and did an amazing job. I believe he was against an Orianna and a Malphite, and he would always dodge one of those ultimates no matter what, very quick on the hands. And we finally do have everything locked in, so we will have that Nunu and Severe in the bottom lane with Mackler and Libic. Looks like we will have, in fact, Charu in the mid lane with Jace, Cubone in the top lane, and Makati on jungle Shed. look at their counterparts, we have Alexic most likely mid lane as we're agreed upon, Darien in the top lane with Renekton, Diamondprox with his Xin Zhao. He's actually very, very good at him. In Season 2, he's very good with him. We have Genja with actually the Ghost, Flash, Ezreal, and we have Edward. I still can't get used to saying that name. Ghost to Pepper.
I like how he split it up.
Yeah, so it's like
Edward Ward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Sona with that Flash of Night. So what do you think has this game? I mean, early game versus late game, who do you think has it?
I'm pretty sure there's going to be lane swap again from Meteor Maker since Charu plays Teleport and they got Olaf, and Chase and Olaf are two of the best 1v2 laners. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lane swap, and a lot is decided by that, like who's going to get the first gank with a huge creep wave and how's it going to turn out.
MYM's obviously purple side, or red side as it is now as well, so they can be Olaf on that bottom lane if they switch up. Means he can get that blue buff, get that level 2 early on, and constantly spam out that Undertow to CS from
Since I don't really like the Renekton pick for the 1v2, for the lane swapping, I'd actually give it to Meteor Makers here. Okay.
And I pick you, sorry, who did you have as winning?
I haven't, but I want to give it to Gambit. Their early game right now with Renekton, Xin Zhao, Kha'Zix, those early levels are going to be a lot of burst damage, and if they can utilize that, they will really be able to snowball this game well and truly in their favor.
Yep, I mean, and if they do win, we have that potential for that three-way tie as everyone just loading in. And they Ezreal, I mean, Genja, I'm trying to think how much he's played, but we're going to find out how it is here, and we will find out if the blue team is still going to keep that flawless victory right now. So when you go ahead and go over to the casters, we have Joe Miller and Demon.
So here we go then, we're in game. Gambit Gaming versus Meteor Makers. Everything on the line right now. Of course, those three-way ties that have been mentioned before can happen at the top of the table, at the bottom of the table. So nothing is decided here up until now, or up until the end of this game in Group A.
So we do see Gambit Gaming as the blue team, and of course the red team is going to be Meteor Makers. Interesting team choices, and certainly a few champion choices. Sharu, of course, going to be in that mid. And, you know, a Jace versus a Kha'Zix, that's a strong, strong counter to Kha'Zix, but whether he's going to work or not, and whether he's going to stay in that lane, that's the question. And obviously, it also depends on the skill of the champion, bearing in mind, this is Alex, Echuk, and Kha'Zix. It could be a problem. We might see a bit of a late invade from Meteor Makers here. They seem to be setting up. We are a minute in. We have seen a couple of 1 minute 50+ invades just piling in there, and Meteor Makers certainly in the position to do that, but Darien, you can see him sat in the river. He is going to be well prepared for this one and should be able to avoid any damage, as it is for Diamondprox, looking like he's going to go Wraiths and Red, which is probably why Meteor Makers are looking to go for the invade.
Yeah, let's see if Meteor Makers do go for that one. Charu is already headed down south towards Olaf's position here by those Wraiths. However, we do have Makata, Makler, and Libic hanging around, dancing around even, in that tri-bush there up at the top. As you said, Darian's position there is in prime, well, it's a prime position to figure out if anything tricky is going to happen from that side. Wolves have been started here by Gambit Gaming. As you can see there, Kubon doing the same down on that bottom side. So that lane switch is going to happen for Meteor Makers.
Yeah, and it does look like they're going to go for that late invade. Here we go, 1 minute 54. They're moving in towards the blue. There's 4 members here from Meteor Makers. They're going to go face first. Darien is there. Meteor Makers immediately get straight in. They are going to steal away the blue buff. How are they going to react to this one? You can immediately see Edwards going straight in towards that blue buff. He's going to try and counter it. It was started off by Kubon. Kubon has backed away, and you do see Diamondprox coming in there. The question is, how strong is he going to be? Kubon is just delaying his time. He's going to come around. Hasn't, of course, got Smite, so he's just going to come in and cause problems. He's going towards Edward, puts the damage down, just making himself a nuisance while the rest of the team looking towards the mid layer. Kubon comes around, Ignite gets put down, and that's a flash coming out from Diamondprox, and he has stolen away the blue buff, though, and he's backed away, but that will slow down his jungle a little bit, but nevertheless, oh, max range taunt, just missing on Alex. It's Makata trying to make it land, but has got the blue buff himself.
Yeah, really interesting start to this final game of the group for both of these teams. As we've said, anything really can still happen here in Group A of the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. In terms of the jungle now, Diamond actually going over towards his red buff. Doesn't, of course, have his smite. Use it to take that blue buff earlier on, but won't have any problems to finish up this red buff on that side. Obviously, middle lane, going to be Jace versus Kha'Zix. We've heard there Alexic has been practicing this Kha'Zix in this middle lane, so we'll see how he faces off against Charu's Jace. And of course, the bottom lane will then be Ezreal Sona, a 2 versus 1 versus Kubon's Olaf. And we saw last game how strong Olaf can be, but whether that goes the same way here still remains to be seen.
Yeah, and Kubon, of course, they had troubles when Gambit Gaming Alexic was bottom lane. We are seeing a possible stack up on the top here against Darien. Is Mokata going to come around. He has got the double buff, and it will be. They're both at level 3. They're all at level 3. Darian just at level 3, but they're going to come in if they can get the stun united. Yes, they do. Straight through, flash, stun united, and the exhaust. First blood goes to Makler, and the home team favourites definitely going to draw some fans from the crowd. Diamond Prox now going to be forced away from this one. He doesn't want to lose his blue buff, and we're going to see Alexic trying to do the same in the bottom lane.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do from this one. This tower is already very, very low. We can see Diamond is actually coming around to try and stop this turret being taken down, but that's not going to work out for them whatsoever. Diamond being forced to back away. There's a big wave of creeps in there as well, and Makler making sure that he doesn't miss out on any farm from that one. And it looks like actually they've decided not to fully go in there. They could end up going in on towards Diamond under this turret, but with Renekton coming around as well, certainly not a safe move from Meet You Makers. Wolves, talking about Wolves, Mokata not quite that far down yet, and they are just going to wait, set up a bit of a trap here, but nothing coming of that one. Diamond is going to go home.
Yeah, Mokata was just hanging around hoping that Diamond would pass back by. Makler and Glibic return back to that top lane, and they're going to keep the pressure on. As it is in the mid lane, Alexic versus Sharu. Very much close on CS. Sharu with the slightest advantages. Of course, Alex went looking to see if he could get a help on that bottom turret. Bottom turret taken very low as well, so Gambit doing just as good a job down the bottom as they have at the top. Of course, they haven't had the kill. That's the only advantage so far. And once again, Mokata lays prey in that mid, bottom, top. Get in the right place in a minute.
As Shen is now going to come in. Let's see what Darian could do. He's going to work his way away from danger, but they've lost that turret. The first one, of course, of the game. Down at the bottom, we did see Jace come around for a bit of cover as well, and that has kept that bottom turret safe now from Meet You Maker's point of view. Question is only how long. As Mokata going to go in there, they managed to get the taunt onto Darian. The boomerang blade goes across as well, but Darian able again to get himself out of that one.
We do also have Diamond coming across there. We did just get the pling of Shen getting low on health, so they are all going to back away from that one. Bottom turret, the teleport was actually used by Sharu to get in towards that bottom turret, trying to protect it out there. Kubon, of course, they have taken that top one, so expect the duo lane to switch down to this bottom in a few moments. Genja and Edward trying to do as much as they can. I just realized the way that he split his first name Ed Ward, because he wards everything.
Sharu actually moving in down towards this bottom lane here. Again, there was a ward in that brush though, and that will mean no further action really happening there. But Meet You Makers, they've done a great job of stalling out their own turret here being taken down, which is always going to be a bonus for them. Alexic here in the middle lane is behind on the CS. Ezreal is ahead of Sivir, but obviously Sivir did pick up that first blood, and it actually leaves around about 300 gold difference in favour of Sivir from that early bit of action. But still, fairly pensive game. Obviously that gank that came in onto the top lane may change things as we go around, as we are going to see the damage coming out here on towards Edwards. Genja forced to arcane shift away. Libic is now down into this bottom lane. Sivir's in the middle, so all a little bit crazy in terms of setup right now for Meet You Makers.
Yeah, Darian putting a good bit of damage on towards that top turret, stripped about half its health off there, but Kubon's going to go for this one on towards Darian. Immediately pops straight in there. Darian has to just dash away. Is it going to be enough? Misses. The axe did land, but he flashed the moment it came in. Realized it would have been the death of him, and he is forced out of lane by Kubon. So Kubon into that top lane the first time they do come up against each other. 29-29 CS, very much even between them. Alex has been getting free farm in his mid lane, but he is only just level with Jace. So Sharu, despite the fact he's been out of lane, has managed to keep his pace with Alexic. But you don't want to give Kha'Zix too much free farm, and that's what he's been getting. Diamond Prox is going to help the blue buff out for Alex, so that's going to be given across. Meanwhile, we see him leaping across and picking that one up. That's going to help him out with his cooldowns and keep spamming as much as possible. Darian returning back towards the top lane, and he's had to go for that armor. Interested to see how these two play out, because we're seeing a pretty different build so far from Kubon at the top there on Olaf. Of course, if you compare it to what we've just seen, the unstoppable Olaf of Flame, pretty much went for the Giant Spot first item, which you can see that Mokata's done on Shen.
Yeah, Shen already got that one in there, obviously with the Hunter's Machete as well from the start. Both AD carries with identical builds currently, and pretty much identical CS. BF Sword, Doran's Blade for them, and we do have the boots on Sivir as well. The blue buff being picked up here by Charu on his side of the map as well, so that's going to be helped with his cooldowns and with his ability to spam that Q. put down as much damage as he can. So both teams, you know, especially for Gambit, I'd say, in this position, they've already lost 2 games. This is it for them. They can't afford any silly mistakes from this one. Otherwise, unfortunately for them, they would definitely be out.
Yeah, you can just see in their skills. Genja, of course, will have leveled up about 6. We do see the pings here on Diamond Prox, and immediately he's forced away with the shock blast just flashing past his face. Alexic looking like he's going to make a move down towards the bottom, though. Immediate ping say, yeah, don't go anywhere. Kubon comes across. He's going to throw an axe across. In fact, he's not. He's not going to take any of the CS at all. In fact, he's just going to come down and completely cover off that bot lane, pick up the Wolves en route. So top lane completely empty at the moment. 2 Siege minions beating on each other. So a bunch of gold going to waste between both lanes. It looks like the blue one's going to be gone. So Meal Maker's missing out on a good 40 plus gold in that top lane. Item-wise, well, you can see for yourself, Brutalizer being slowly built up by Jace. Alexic chose to go towards Tear of the Goddess first, but it is looking like a dragon will be the next target. And you can see Darian actually getting jumped on here by Sharu, but he's got his Renekton ultimate now. He gets taken down very low, but here comes Diamond Prox, comes straight in. Alexic coming around as well, Makata taken down very low, but the poke from Diamond Prox should be able to catch on towards him. Yes, it will. Diamond Prox does pick up the kill, first kill for Gambit Gaming. Oh, look at that, the burst straight on towards Kubon is forced away. Shock Blast comes back, and they are all retreating. And there is just a 1 kill for Gambit Gaming.
Yeah, interesting choice there from Kubon. Decided not really to get involved with that one. Could have ended up dying, so probably a wise decision either way. But Gambit are starting off the dragon here. Down to round about half HP. We are going to see Libic moving in there. Kubon there. Ultimate pop by Sivir. There's the crescendo going over. And the ultimate out of Ezreal. And that's a kill for Alexic. Can they get any more from this one? Kubon is low. Arcane Shift coming in from Genja. He doesn't want to go too deep either. And that will be Kubon, at least for now, able to escape.
Well, it's the shock blast on towards Edward as well. Very nice play. And again, Alex jumping in, getting that kill. So again, they pinched it off. And that is the kill advantage. We do see Makata trying to poke around the side there, but just being kept at distance by Genja. Genja being unusually aggressive in this game as well. That's something I've noticed that's changed between his play. Darian, of course, becoming a bully, despite the fact he has only got a Ninja Tabi and armor. So keeping himself as busy as he can against Sharu. Sharu is just holding him off. Huge creep stack in this top wave. Let's see if anyone's going to follow up that and push that turret, because it will push itself.
Yeah, this is going to be a nice bit of farm coming out for Olaf. Is a little bit ahead. And also, well, in terms of goal, it's only around about a 10 difference. That's going to change here very, very quickly as Olaf goes around, picks up his axe, and pretty much wipes the entire wave out with that single undertow coming in there as well. So you just see that a big boost that Kubon is going to have. That gives him around about 500 gold to work with. However, on the other side, again, we are seeing Gambit starting off the dragon. Can Meet Your Makers reply to this one? Doesn't look like it. They've pinged it up, but there's nothing they can do.
There's nothing they can do about it. Kubon had gone back up to the top there. He was farming out, and that was a good bit of tactical play from Gambit Gaming, maybe getting their senses back about them. Is it too little, too late? That is the question. Could they take it 1-2? Could things be balanced out across the group? Would be very interesting to see the timers. Of course, Meet Your Makers had a very fast win earlier on against Curse North America, so I have no idea how the actual balance would work out in the terms of if we had a draw. It would certainly give a headache to the admins once again, which tends to happen in the Intel Extreme Masters.
Yeah, I think the point is that when you've got a three-way tie, the team that's not involved, which in this case could end up being a Zubu, their times don't actually matter. Those games don't count. So those that have lost quickly to a Zubu earlier on in the tournament, they'll be pretty happy with the fact that they weren't in that three-way tie. But now we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves from that one. There's still a long time to go. Still, obviously, we're not sure what's happening over in the Curse versus a Zubu game as well. But we'll try and bring you any updates on that if we can, possibly throughout the course of the game. But you can see, you can tell just from the way both teams are playing here, Demon, how much is on stake. Neither one of them wanted to get caught out of position, wanted to go too deep here, too deep there, and throw away something that, you know, they could have a very good chance on.
Yeah, of course, Meet Your Makers, they didn't want to dive in, like you say, on towards that dragon. They just thought, okay, let's play it safe, play it clever. Darian going to keep the pressure on towards Kuban, of course. Olaf should be able to tank out this turret. Darian just getting around him. He has got Diamond Procs heading up here, so they could go and dive on towards it. They will do. He comes straight in. He had to use his ultimate. Kuban's going to get caught out there, but Darian is coming through. Sharu teleports in. Diamond Procs is there. Now Makata's going to be the target because here comes Alexic on towards Makata. He's been singled out. Is he going to get enough damage on towards him? Flashes in. Does try and finish him off. Alex should take down Makata on the turret. Meanwhile, Sharu taking down very low as well. Darian backs off. Meanwhile, Edward coming around the side here. Is he going to go deep for that crescendo? Yes, he is. On towards Sharu. Wow. He picks it up. Very nice play there from Edward. Knew exactly how much damage he could do. They will take the top turret down, and Gambit Gaming return to their power.
Edward, we know him from his aggressive Sona play. That was fantastic positioning. Got right in where he needed to be. And, well, he's been called scumbag Gosu Pepper before for picking up the kills too much with Sona, but that was a fine play out of him from that one. That's going to gift a red buff here over towards Diamond Procs from the MYM side of the jungle, and that sets them really quite far ahead in terms of the kills. 4-1, the distribution is nice as well. They've got the 2 on Alexic, on Kha'Zix, and they've got 1 on the jungler, and the 1 on Sona, which Edward did really nicely to pick up there in the dying moments of that little bit of action as well. On the other side, still that 1 single kill is with Sivir, and between the 2 AD carries, CS very, very even. Items pretty much the same as well, only the tier 1 boots making the separating those 2 AD carries out as well in the end. So still everything to play for from both sides of this game.
Yeah, Gambit seem to definitely be back on track, as is always telltale with Moscow 5 from previous games. Whenever they get that slight advantage, they will really drive it home. The question is, can they hold it? You saw the blue buff getting stolen away there by Genja, and the rest of the team just closing in around. So Makata clearing out top wave. Let's have a look across the CS. 87 to 84, the 2 top laners, but as we know, Olaf can become a beast late on. Warmogs is slowly but surely being built up. There's some fight cape for Darian. In the meanwhile, the 2 junglers, of course, Shen, not really able to expose himself in this game yet. He has got that Sunfire cape, so he's split pushing along that top lane. But Gambit, they have that damage. You can see it is Kha'Zix with that BF sword, the Brutalizer. He's got the Tear of the Goddess, so he's going to be spamming as much as possible. Meanwhile, you've got to assume that Sharu is going to be sitting. Now he's got 525 gold. Where is his gold disappeared to? He seems to be a long way behind. Of course, he is 2-0-1 versus a 1-0-1-0. So 2 kills to Alexic, helping him out heavily in that damage. Bloodthirster apiece between the 2 AD carriers, so very much even between them, except the extra Doran's blade that Genja's picked up. And of course the 2 supports both sitting on the Ruby Crystal very early on, the Ruby Sight Zone, should I say. But we still have that Total Biscuit sitting on Libic, and I believe they're going to try and dive for it.
It looks that way. Kuban actually going to pop Ragnarok here. They're going to try and get in. We are going to be seeing Shen come into the fight just before that crescendo came down as well. Didn't pull the stun off onto either of them. There's the Ezreal ulti. Macklin now, the one that's falling low. He's going to be able to escape that Jace acceleration gate, really helping them. But Gambit have not taken enough damage here, and that's going to mean that they can get in and take down their 3rd turret of the game. All outer turrets now picked up for the Russians.
And they are going to drive on forward there. Genja being very aggressive straight and towards them. They're going to try and tank up this turret as much as possible. Alex backs away, uses the minions that did come through. Gambit are just going to tank their way through this one. Diamond's going to get in there, and that's 2 turrets. Very nice push, especially on the mid.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that for from a single push, and Gambit really played it perfectly. Darian obviously wasn't super involved in that fight, and that's why he came into it then, and that's 1 player on full HP, and he's certainly going to get gonna hurt in there with that Sunfire cape on. Plus, let's not forget to mention the extra health that he's got to tank through as well. Kuban here did just spot Genja as they are headed down towards that dragon side. Should be up in around about 15 seconds time. And Meet Your Makers know that this would be a welcome pickup for them if they're able to get that extra gold and the control of it as well. However, Gambit not going to be giving this one away. They want to make sure that they starve Meet Your Makers wherever possible of whatever gold they can.
So, Dragon is up, and Gambit have perfect timing on it. They just almost bully Meet Your Makers away from the spawn area. And that means they have full control and extend their gold lead to 6,000. That's 26 to 20. So 4-1 kills, big advantage, 4-1 turrets. big advantage across the board. Home guard boots being picked up by Alex Ich here. We are seeing Alex Ich going aggressive. He's going towards Mackley. He does manage to land the rockets. He's going to turn it in towards Kubon. Kubon's going to jump away from this one. Alex has evolved the jump, but he's not going to leap it. Oh, wow! Just off the screen, the true shot barrage flashed through. I almost want to rewind that one.
Well, they're doing Baron, so maybe not just yet. Baron has been started out here by 3 from Moscow 5. Obviously, level 9, level 8. It's Alex Ich who's up level 12. Darian's going to need to come in here and do a bit of tanking work, but they should be able to have this one away. It's down to below half health right now, but what can MYM do to stop this one from happening? They've got Shen up on that top side, does have Smite available, but can Makata get around for this one? Genja already spotting his position. There is the moving from Shen. Can he finish this one off? Makata going fairly low, and they get the kill before Dragon goes down. It's picked up by Moscow 5. Darian over on the other side. They're going to try and get in, gets a stun down onto Kubon, who used Ragnarok earlier. He's not got it available for him now. He's burning from the ignite with the exhaust. May just be enough to save his life, but will Libic pay the price here? He's got underneath the turret, and it looks like Gambit will call off the hunt, but that was a 1 for 0 in Gambit's favour, and they picked up Baron.
True shot barrage just available, but Kubon already back onto the fountain, so Gambit will push back on towards the top. Starting to look like their old self here. Maybe had some serious words with one another, realising that they are not out of it yet. They could still have a chance. So now, as it stands, if Gambit were to go and win this one, they kind of need... They need a Zubu Blaze to win their game, don't they?
Yeah, if Curse win, that one they'll be 2-1, and it'll leave then MYM and Gambit on 1-2. So they still need the gods to come in their favour, so to speak, because we are going to see now Gambit in there with Darian. He was forced out, down to below half HP. Kubon using that undertow to try and keep Gambit away from this turret. It's still got over half of its HP remaining. Will they try and make a move for something here? Doesn't look like it, because Gambit are pushing that middle turret as well. Split pushing this one right through. It's only Jace to defend there. They probably need to group up on this one and not let, not get caught out and lose turrets in it, as we are going to see Diamond moving in on towards the team.
Oh, good knock away by Sharu. Just one more hit and he would have been bounced in the air instead. They try and put a bit of damage on towards that. Oh, something to look across the side there. Just got a glimpse of Magda. Did manage to jump in there. Alex is going to try and pin out Libic. But that was nice execution there. Genja completely pins it out of it. They are tanking up the turret. Darian's going to try and tank this one down. It's going to be the second inhibitor turret going down. Gambit Gaming, they haven't taken an inhibitor yet, but cleverly just taking the turrets on the outside. Can they try and track down Libic? He's just past the ward. They know exactly his position. Of course, they have got that Baron buff. Shock Blast hitting the 3 of them in the back there, and they're still trying to hunt them down, but instead, Gambit are going to back away and wait for their AD carry to respawn and then make the next push.
Yeah, wise, I think, as well from Gambit. No need to take risks and be chasing him down like that, especially since the rest of the team were back on full health. And, well, Siva's got a bloodthirst, so she healed it back with that wave of minions in that top lane anyway. So let's have a quick look at the overall picture. 33.7 to 25.1 thousand gold. Healthy lead for for Gambit Gaming. I think someone's going to be turning this one into a drinking game. However many times we say Gosu Pepper and Moscow 5 throughout the course of the tournament. And 7-2 in turrets as well for the reigning world champions of the Intel Extreme Masters, and we're only 22 minutes into the game, so looking really good. They've lost 2 games coming into this one, so as you said, there's surely been words had amongst the team coming into this third and final Group A game here in Katowice. Will they be able to hold on? Will they be able to continue this trend that they've set already in this game and beat MYM?
Yeah, and of course, remember, it's not the end of the world if Gambit Gaming do go out. They have already qualified for the Intel Extreme Masters World Finals in CBIT in March, of course, but that is because they are, as you mentioned, reigning champions, so therefore they automatically get an invite back, and why the hell not? They performed so well last year. They're yet to rekindle their form here, though, in 2013. They will take down the second inhibitor of the game, and they're poke back and forward from Meteor Makers. They realize they're going to have to use the double Nexus turrets here to try and defend it. The Shock Blast keeps poking them back, but now they are just being able to sustain their way through this one, wiping out the next minion wave. The Baron buff is about to wear out, just going to drop any second now. And the rest of Gambit Gaming do back away after a successful raid and a double inhibitor steal.
Yeah, very systematic play here by Gambit. Going to be going down now in towards that bottom lane for the inner turret as well, and that will leave just one inhibitor turret and one inhibitor itself still remaining on the map for Meet Your Makers, and there's not a lot that they can really do about this one. It's probably going to come down to one big fight for them in the end as they try to hold on to something here in their base. And now we're only 23 minutes into it as well, which means that even if they do manage to ace, they probably wouldn't be able to turn around and push inhibitors of their own.
And you see, leaping in there, Alex Each wanted a piece of that one. It does certainly look like Gambit are going to try and drive this one home. It is going to be full ultimate stack, full 5v5. They've got to be careful they don't get caught on that turret, because I still feel the Meet Your Makers, with a good bit of use, they could possibly turn this one around at their base, but they're going to have to do everything. They've got super minions coming in towards them. They're starting to poke on towards that top Nexus turret. You can see Makata going in, but Alex Inch goes leaping in. Diamond Prox was the target, but Crescendo hits 3 of them. And they do keep bouncing around. Siva's ultimate being used by Makta, going towards Darian now. Darian the target. Shock Blast comes across. Genja though just kiting Kuban back and forth. Darian tanking up through the turret. Shock Blast lands on Genja, and you can see Gambit are forced to back away. They have a massive creep stack coming in towards the bottom inhibitor turret, and that's going to be a full-length court on towards Makata. That's another inhibitor turret down, and Gambit, I feel, will just back away from this one, having taken their advantage.
Yeah, all turrets now outside of that Nexus, and its 2 turrets are now down for Meet Your Makers. I mean, they've done good damage in that fight there, but not quite got what it takes just yet to be finishing that one off, and they have to put themselves in that whole CLGU position, or I should say, you know,
a Zubu Blaze position, I think, is known, because they actually came back from it.
Yeah, that's true, actually. They were further down the line. But I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
It wasn't a 10,000 gold difference, it was a 2,000 gold, so let's not get carried away. It was in a very tense, close game. If you have missed it, it was the OGN semi-finals.
Game 4 of the first best of 5,
Game 4 of the first best of 5, and they came back from a triple inhibitor down. Alex Itch putting a burst of damage on towards Makata. They're forcing him away, and everybody from Gambit has gone back to buy Go Super for the last man standing just to come up. And once he gets in there, the ultimates are almost all available. Crescendo's the only one that's down currently. And Gambit do take down the 3rd and final inhibitor. They're going towards that top Nexus turret. The damage coming down. Diamond Prox is going to get targeted. Alex Itch goes leaping in. Absolute Zero gets dropped there. Libic is going to be the target. Darian's going to jump on towards him. A little bit sloppy targeting there from Gambit. They couldn't quite focus on him, but it doesn't matter. Genja's shredding the inhibitor Nexus turret now. First one goes down. Back on towards Makata. Makata getting caught out by Darian. He slices and dices. Alex Itch goes leaping in. Edward manages to pick it up. The Nexus turret's getting burned down. Shock Blast comes out. It's a lot of damage from Sharu, but it's not going to be enough to hold them down. Diamond Prox, you can see Alex Itch goes leaping in once again. They are all back and forward, but the Nexus is now exposed. Crescendo finally comes out, just respawns. They're jumping on towards Kuban. Olaf gets stronger and stronger as the health comes down. Darian with nothing left. Makler trying to get on towards him. Edward is going to flash away. Double kill for Genja around the backside. Darian's in there. They take the Nexus down. Gambit Gaming go 1-2. What are the other scores going to be, Joe?